and if Joe Mazzulla and Jim Montgomery are able to turn both of these teams around, then everything is A-okay. We're back on track.
Who do you have more faith in, Mazzulla or Montgomery?
As a head coach?
No, as a bartender.
Well, you have to tell me more. Do you want strategy?
Just in general, when you see them. This is my answer. Is going to shock you.
Speech, some kind of fiery pregame speech. Go ahead. What?
My answer is going to shock you. I have more faith in Joe Mazzulla than Monty.
You do?
Yes.
You've been all over him all season.
I think I've been all over both, but not quite as all over as you guys have been the rum swizzle. But I would say not by a wide margin, sort of like Mystic Dan at the Kentucky Derby. Yeah, I have him by a nose over Monty.
I feel like Joe Mazzulla is more of a passenger. I feel like what happens with the Celtics in this run is all because of the way the NBA is. And the way these players are, the way superstars are in the NBA, it's all on the players. I feel like Montgomery has more opportunities to F it up when it comes to, shuffling lines and to being unable somehow to stop the too many men on the ice penalties, and to be, he needs to yell louder, apparently, or whisper in ears. He needs
a get back guy.
The argument, Mike Milbury surprised me yesterday when giving Jim Montgomery a little bit of out, and the players a little bit of out on the too many men on the ice by saying that it's the short shifts, that it's the 30-second shifts or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
like somehow the rest of the NHL is using short shifts, and they haven't had as many combined.
It's like these guys have been doing it since midgets. There's no excuse for that, and to have that many more as the Boston Bruins is embarrassing.
In win or lose, I think the players would put more towards Montgomery than they would Mazzulla. Like hearing Swayman say the other day that he would trust Montgomery with his life and puts all the faith in Montgomery. I think if the Celtics win the championship, the Celtics are going to be like, that was us, that wasn't Mazzulla. But if the Bruins win a Stanley Cup, then the players are going to give a lot of credit to Montgomery for getting them in line.
That's a good point, Courtney. I do think the Bruins Cup more credit will be given to Monty if they win it all than Mazzulla if they do. But I think both will be the scapegoat should they lose.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have any faith in Joe Mazzulla? Like, last night, this morning, tomorrow, sitting those guys down and tell them that they're embarrassing the Celtics, they're embarrassing the city.
To be fair to Mazzulla, and this is a wild side for me, if you don't have that inert or that desire that a championship is the only thing you need, I don't think it can be coached into you. In other words, he has Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, two of the top 15 players in the NBA. And he has a great roster. He's got everything you need. But if when the going gets tough, Jayson Tatum tucks it in, then in what way could Joe Mazzulla force him to be more competitive in that moment?
Haven't you, if you look at Pat Riley or you look at Doc Rivers or aren't there guys from a coaching perspective who are able to get more out of even their superstars?
But I feel like KG was more of the catalyst for that team than anything else. Like, people were forced to respect him, and he was this just absolute fireball of competitive insanity, and that is what guided them to that championship. And I feel like with this team, I just hear that from Jayson Tatum, and I'm just deflated today. Like, I don't know what we played and they said it, like, where he just says he's asked about a super team, and he's like, all the success we had. Like, no, you're on your way to success. You've had personal success. Jayson Tatum's story is incredible. He is a wild success story. He's been a remarkable player, and where he came from to where he is, all of that. But as a team, you haven't had success yet.
Yeah, and maybe it's like the old head argument, but if at some point, whether you're Jayson Tatum or you're Paul Pierce or you're Michael Jordan or you're Kobe Bryant, you're going to have a lull, and you're going to need somebody as a coach who can, you probably can't flip a table over anymore, because you'd be brought up on charges. It would create a massive mental issue for everybody who witnessed it.
They'd have to work remote.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm way off. I don't know what the green teamers think. I don't know. I see on the Subaru of New England text line that's a old guy attitude, and I'm fine with that. But do you think the mood this morning is that's all on the players, or that it's on Joe Mazzulla to get the players fired up?
From where I sit, Joe Mazzulla is the caddy that they wanted. He is not Pat Riley. He is not a get-in-your-face guy. And so I don't think we can give Mazzulla a hard time, because that's not what he was hired to do.
100%, Curtis. And watching the Twitch line this morning, they're all mad at me for, being too soft with these Celtics players. So I think a lot of people are just putting it all on the players.
Well, you're giving them a pass, and
I don't want to get too low on them. I said this yesterday about the Bruins getting too high, getting too low. I think that the Celtics team is not mid. They are as talented as they come. I think that they respond really well in Game 3, and it's just a Game 2 slump, which I don't agree with. But it's something that we've had to deal with this team.
But again, back to what we were talking about earlier, how can you deny the track record? Like, how can you look at include this one, look at the last 3 seasons and not say that they have a disturbing habit of throwing up playoff stinkers? I mean, the biggest is the Warriors collapse. I mean,
you're up by 5 in Game 4, or no, in Game, they were up 2-1. They were up by 5 late in Game 4 in the fourth quarter to go up 3-1. They blew that, and they didn't win again. And you compare that to the Celtics when they were playing the Lakers in the 2008 season. They were down by 20-plus in L.A., came back to win that game, won the series in 6. So I think as a Celtic, it's just a different responsibility. The job title is different for the best player. Unlike any other franchise, minus maybe the Lakers, nothing else matters but championships. Literally nothing. And your number one superstar that preceded you, in Paul Pierce, knew that and was accepting of it. I don't hear that from Tatum and Brown, and we can't keep saying they're young. They are young in terms of the real world, but they're in their, 7th or 8th season in the NBA? I know it took Jordan a while. I get that. But until they win, these questions will not stop. And when they have performances like last night, which Courtney, and you're probably right, and the people out there that defend the team, they're going to win the series. I would be shocked if they lost to the Cavaliers. It's just an example of when you're going to play tougher teams, games like last night will occur more frequently, and I don't see the ability by these players to overcome bad spurts of play.
No, that's it, Curtis. Like, I don't think anybody is sitting here and alarmed that they lost the game to the Cavs, and that means it's over. But I do think it's alarming when you have to start. You really have to start winning these games, and you're fooling around now with home court advantage. And you worked all regular season to make sure you had that. So